once again that, I've been invited to welcome people to the country. One thing our elders always teach us when we're young is mi and binango. Anytime you're on a new country or a country, and maybe you lived here for a while, but our elders always say, always listen and look, and the country will speak to you. And if the country speaks to you, then you understand where we're coming from and Aboriginal people. So we wanted to thank you for the opportunity. So anytime you're around, come and speak to us and learn the story. Our law, our whole people always come from the country. Our country is very important to us, and we're excited to see Mick and the Surfboard Agency taking a step in the right direction to look after country, and our people will always support that. So thanks for having me this morning, and I hope you have a good time.
Putting this brand together and going through this, like sharing surfing with your family, does it sort of do you get a bit nostalgic about when you started surfing? Does any of that sort of stuff come back to you?
For sure. I guess even like the journey of this whole project has been incredible. Like as Mark said, I was just going in to check in on a mate and just make sure he's okay. And then he's like, oh, here's this board. And then when yourselves and Locke came up and like, oh, we want to create a model. And I was thinking for me, I was like, oh yeah, just one board. Yeah, no worries, we can do that. And then they're like, no, the whole brand. And I'm like, oh shit, okay, here we go. But yeah, now it's funny, like I'll go down the beach, and especially if I go down the alley, and I'm seeing like little kids riding the boards. I see my son on it. I'll take down a couple just to play with, and then there'll be random people like, oh, can I have a look at that one? I'm like, here, put your kid on it, go for a surf. And just to see the joy on the kids' faces is just incredible. And going back to the 1900s when I started surfing, it was like, I remember my first board was actually a sign out of a surf shop, and and so it was like, all right, that was the smallest thing I could find, being a 5-year-old. And my parents didn't know anything about surfing, so they didn't know a hard board could smack me in the head or something like that. My brothers really didn't care. They just thought it was an excuse to go and get ice cream. But yeah, now it's one of those things where you just see so much joy on so many people's faces, and there's something there for everyone. Like, I give so many boards to friends to take their kids surfing, and I'm like, make sure you have a go of it and give it a go. And now it's like, it's eliminated so much space in the car where you can take just one board for the whole family. And it really helps me remind me of the fun days back when I started. But I'm sort of happy now that kids get a better opportunity to get going earlier. At first it was like, wow, an actual softboard that you can actually go out and have a proper surf on and feel like you're surfing rather than just hanging on and just going straight. Like, that was the biggest one for me, seeing the contours in the bottom and making sure that the concaves were right and the rockers were right. And that was huge. And as we've come along, the different evolutions, we've made them lighter in the soft, in the super soft, and then now all the eco visions that Curtin got, and there's some new exciting things that we're working on to hopefully make it even more eco-friendly and give back more to the environment, and sort of just giving people choices. As surfboards, we destroy the earth, unfortunately, just to use the earth. So it's sort of a to and fro, and I think this is like a start of a way of giving back to the ocean and giving people that opportunity to go, okay, well, maybe my normal board isn't the most earth-friendly thing, but then I can try and figure out how to get one of these softboards for my kids and teach them a journey on the way. So in the future, look, who knows where we're gonna end up. Yeah, the Beastie. It was funny because my coach Phil McNamara, he's like, he saw the boards come into the house and he's like, what are these? And I was like, take one for a spin, just let me know. And he's been teaching people to surf all the time for over 30 years, and he's just like, you need something that's stable, that doesn't nosedive, and make the tail as wide as possible for that ironing board effect, so you can just keep going and going and going. And I rode the Beastie, and it was just so stable, and tried to, once I started trying to turn on it, it would still turn, and that was something that I was like really psyched on. And once, going back to Phil, giving him one of the big boards, and I said, go and take this and teach someone how to surf. And he was just like, it was so much easier. These people who just got up, they didn't nosedive, and they just flowed for forever. And so that was a big milestone. And I think that's the beauty where, I've always enjoyed surfboards, but, working with Kurt and being able to come up with new ideas. He's got his own ideas as well, and we sort of just, open to speaking with each other, just trying to find the best possible products out there to, one, teach people how to surf, two, get kids from, just standing up to turning and into that next chapter, and then just, the fun factor for the family. That's the whole, I guess, the main focus, to just keep moving forward. Look, I think surfing's grown. Like, let's be honest, we all whinge about the crowds, and growing up on the Gold Coast, got more crowds than anywhere in the world. But to see someone catch that first wave, to see someone just getting up and just doing something for the first time, or even me taking someone surfing, there's no better feeling. It's just so much fun. And Mark talking about gratitude, pushing someone into a wave and seeing the smile on their face, that's 10 times better for me, to watch someone else go and catch a wave. And I feel like not only surfing has grown here in Australia, but globally, there's landlocked countries that, they're getting people into the Olympics, so it's like, we've got to be more open-minded, and stop being that selfish, even though I'm probably pretty selfish from Palau Kira, but
you've earned the right.
Oh, sometimes. Some people don't think so. But yeah, it's just that joy. That's the biggest thing. When you see other people having a great time, that's it for me. That's the biggest tick of approval ever. I think we've got to embrace that. I think that we've got to, give women more of a voice in the surfing world, because, to be really honest, they tell a better story than us. We're just grumpy old men that freaking go surfing. They're having fun, The ladies of leisure are out there, and they're going and doing incredible things. And so, Laura's the perfect person to come into this brand, because, you have a look at her range. It's fun, and it's exactly where she can go and get young girls and start them and show them that there is a pathway from learning to stand up to charging and getting Guinness World Records on the biggest wave in the world. So it's incredible. Always been a huge fan, and she's always been someone that I've admired, but just the way that she goes about a sport, and there's other girls out there that clap her in.
Good morning, everyone. When Mick messaged me, I feel like I'd been kind of thinking about doing some sort of a range, but I'm so busy, and I'm didn't know where to start with it. Like I always was like, it'd be sick to do a female soft top brand for women with like so many different, board models. And when Mick messaged me, I was like, it was like the stars aligning really. And I was like, what a way to do this with him, with you guys. You guys have obviously made incredible boards for Mick, and to be able to just have these two models to kick off the LE range, I'm absolutely stoked. And they look so fun, and they go really amazing. And Kurt, he shaped me first. I was like the yin yang. We want to do a 20. We obviously have the 20 with the stabilizer fin, so it can be more stable for people that are beginning and kids, and then you can obviously rip out that stabilizer if you want to add a bit more flair and do more turns or slide the tail out a bit more. So they go super fun. And Kurt made me a mock-up glass version of the yin yang, and it was one of the funnest 20s I've ever ridden. I was just like, whoa, I'm taking this thing home. So they go really fun. I'm just stoked to be able to, for me personally, take them around the world and ride them in all different types of waves. But then all of my girlfriends, they all live on the Gold Coast now. I actually just caved and got a place up here because like all of my best friends are up here now, and they are all obsessed with surfing. Like back when I was growing up, I'd go to the beach with my girlfriends and they were like, no, they didn't even want to get into surfing at all. But I think there's just this beauty of living on the Gold Coast, Rainbow Bay, Byron Bay. Just so many of my girlfriends now are just obsessed with surfing. They're having daughters and kids, and they are just out there with their kids now. And so I think the Sunbeam is just the board that they're all going to love, because my brother got his wife a glassed PU, sort of looked like the Sunbeam, but it was just too heavy. She didn't want to carry it down the beach. She was like, fuck this. And then now the Sunbeam, it's so light, and she's already held it and was like, you're coming home with me. So she's already stolen it. Yeah, I said to Mick, we'll have to try to take these out, some of the bombies. Oh, even Mark said, it was like, let's go try them at Shippies. I was like, I don't know about that. But that wave last year was wild. And I just got home from Cloudbreak last week, and I surfed that swell and got completely annihilated. It was just so heavy, but amazing. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I probably should have kids and chill the fuck out. Growing up, we'd have these big east swells or nor'east swells down in Sydney, and I remember just seeing them when I was young, and the Northie guys would just be going out there, and I would try over and over again to get out the back. Couldn't get out the back. Then finally, when you get out the back, the only way to get in is to catch a wave. Like, unless you get swept down to South Narrabeen and you just get absolutely flogged. So I think from that point, I was just, I don't know, I had that probably like 10 to 12. I was out there, and all the boys were like just sort of egging me on, and I just got that feeling of riding those bigger waves back then, but never thought it would eventuate into like proper like big wave surfing. I was like, yeah, no, I'll stick around like 8 to 10 foot waves and just surf like beautiful Fiji and Micronesia and Indo, and just go to all those beautiful barreling waves, and then somehow ended up at Jaws going, what has happened? How did this happen? And yeah, I feel like once I had that, my first wave at Jaws actually injured me and blew my knee to pieces and kind of made me fall off the tour. So I think after that, my family were like, okay, surely that's going to be, the big wave career over. But it kind of just like kicked off there. I was like, I couldn't get back into comps. I was just like kept thinking about getting back to Jaws and like trying to make a wave and not having that be like, the end of the story. So it's still going now. But I don't know. I feel like the more I do it, the more it scares me and the more calculated I get. And literally I like wanted to vomit listening to Mark's story this morning, because it is that double-edged sword. It's so dangerous. It's, it makes you so humbled by the ocean, but you just can't like, I don't know. There's going to be a time where I'm going to be like, it's done. I've done everything I've wanted. I've tried everything I wanted. Like my personal goals, but you just know how dangerous it is as well. Yeah, well, when I went to Cloudbreak for this last swell, it was one of those situations where I was looking at it on Surfline and I was like, it looks big, but I feel like it's not going to be like crazy huge thundercloud. And then I swear I booked my flight, and then like every hour between like when I booked it and the flight, it just kept upgrading. And I was like, oh shit, I literally raced to Dillon Longbottom and got like a bigger board, which actually ended up not being like completely big enough. But I didn't have my inflation vest because I left it in Hawaii because, you know, it was meant to be this super El Nino season, and there was going to be all these swells in Hawaii that never actually came. They all came to Fiji out of season. But so I got over there, and yeah, I got a crazy hold down, similar to Mick's, except like I had an impact suit on, so I had inflation, like not inflation, but just padding. Hit the reef. Same thing. I actually had to climb my leggy, and that like literally climbing my leggy, it stretched and was like turned into like a 15-foot leg robe. But I remember climbing to get up, and then same thing, got another wave in the head, and like I just can't even imagine how scary it is when you don't have a leg rope attached to you, because you just know that even though that board could just hit you at any time and knock you out, you're like, you kind of know that it's going to keep you close to the top. And then I've had a similar situation where I've come up in kayboard, just grabbed my ponytail and was like, flop, just whacked me on the ski. And we were at Fiji. He's like, whatever you do, put your hair in a ponytail so I can use that as a way to get you on the ski. I was like, this is, yeah, just like, whoppa. I was like, this is crazy. What are we doing? Yeah. You need a little man bun next time you go out. The whole process of coming up with this range has been awesome, and then seeing how they turned out and picking the colours. I worked so closely with Kurt on, you know, what we could make that would be, you know, versatile for, you know, beginners up to experienced surfers, and in all types of waves and wave sizes. And so I think when we came up with these two boards, we're like, I just feel like my friends that can't surf will be able to ride them, and then also my friends that can surf will be able to ride them. And we can't wait to get them out there and get them in the hands of all my friends already that have kids are just like, give them to me, like, when are they coming? And Mick posted a little snapshot of it the other day in the studio, and everyone was sending it to me going like, when is this coming? So I'm like super excited that, you know, I've been able to work on this with you guys, and it's really cool because it's, what is it, the first eco grade 1? Yeah, well, I feel like all my friends will probably want both, just so they're little. And I think even the pathway, you can get on the Sunbeam and, you know, ride that. It's a bigger, sort of more stable board. Will go, you know, straight, and then be, you know, you can also take out the stabilizer and then turn it easier as well. But, you know, obviously the yin yang for doing more turns. I can imagine my friends' little groms and just jumping on that and wanting to like learn to do turns on it, and, you know, squiggling along and, yeah, having a hell time. So I'm super stoked that we can just have a, you know, female representation within the brand, and that's why Mick wanted to jump on, because he's like, you know, Mark Matthews' little daughter's only going to want to ride Mick's board until, you know, he's just grumpy Uncle Mick, and then we're going to go on Auntie Laura's board.
I'm not even grumpy. I'm just Xander's guy.
Yeah, the yin yang's pretty exciting. Little beveled rail, so when you sort of put it on rail, it bites pretty easily. Little break back here, little hip in the tail. It was fun putting this board together, and it was fun kind of watching. The first time Laura rode the prototype was at Belongil, and it was only maybe that big.
When I rode it, I was like, I'm taking this prototype home. And it was so fun. And then obviously they're pretty thin, but I thought like the thinness, it might have been too thin when I was riding it, but it was so fun. It floated so well. And so we wanted to, we kind of had that in mind when we were going to, you know, put the foam on top and just how floaty they will be. And obviously that's the smallest yin yang, and they go up in size up to a 5'8". So just 5'10", sorry. I know my shit, yeah. But yeah, so I feel like it's going to be super fun to ride.
Yeah, today I just wanted to run through how the boards are made. Yeah, we do punch above our weights. We have a global distribution network, so it's tricky. Like herding cats, like Dan said before. I've got a little PowerPoint presentation that I built in bed last night. I was supposed to build this yesterday, Arvo, but I went surfing instead, and it was pumping. All right, so yeah, for me, it's all about surfing. and living a good surfing lifestyle. So the starting point is the epoxy lamb. This is where it all started. We've been through a couple of different variations. The variation that we've landed on is a stringed 28 gram EPS core. It's got a bamboo stringer. EPS and bamboo talk together quite nicely. They're a similar material rather than a plywood stringer with EPS. It's got 2 layers of 4 on the deck, a layer of 4 on the bottom. Deck is IXPE and the bottom is a HDPE. The bottom has a 50% recycled plastic content. I'm trying to there's a lot going on in the background with sustainability stories, but yeah, I'd like to start talking to Plastic Bank to promote that potentially. It's a tricky one to talk about. I believe there's still quite good value for what the customer gets. I think there's a lot of versatility with the product. It ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of different surfers, from kids all the way through to my dad, who's like punching 70 and still out at the pass, tuning chicks. He's loving it. So the epoxy lamb's the original. Price points haven't changed this year, same as what they were last year. Heat lamb, that's something that took me a little bit to get over the line with the factory that we use. For the guys, there's only 2. At that time when I started looking at heat lamb, there was only 2 factories that you could go to. I just was up there hounding the guy that we used to make the softboards to start a heat lamb line. He said he would only do it if we used the best quality raw materials, because that way we could eliminate a lot of the D-lambs and stuff like that. We use the IXP deck skin. It's the most closed cell deck skin that you can use. Same HDPE bottom with a PE bonding layer. The reason they're so light is because they take away all the gluing, the lamination, all of that sort of stuff. I use an internal bamboo stringer, so it's embedded into the EPS core when they blow it. There's no finish shaping on these ones. There's some on the other ones. But when I first started playing around with this construction in China, we got the car out. We had this little, Great Wall station wagon with the tow ball. We hooked up a slack string and looped it around the board and put it in between 2 poles. We're trying to snap it by driving the car away. And it just kept bending and flying back at the car. It was pretty fun. I think I've got some video footage of that somewhere. So that's our price point offering. Still best sellers are the Beastie Super Soft. We've added back the 6.0 because there was a demand for smaller thrusters in the Super Soft, which brings me to the addition of the Catfish Unicorn, which is just a straight up 3-fin. Hey. So this little sled's kind of rad. It's a culmination of a couple of things that happened during COVID. I got stuck with a bunch of raw materials that I couldn't utilize, so they've gone into this board. It comes with it's basically a reshaped catfish. We ended up with a large amount of futures boxes and F8 safety fins. So we've done an internal fin box, and these only come in futures F8 safety fins. Good on you, Pete. And I recently had an experience last year that led me down the kaleidoscopic kind of avenue. It's awesome. So that comes in 2 colorways, a white with a kaleidoscope and then a full jade color. So price point hasn't changed for the heat lamb this year. We're still sitting in the same price category. I'll just got some. If anyone has questions on pricing, I do have notes here. I can tell you what they are, but Wilco loves that board. He can't stop riding it. We did a little collab with Rip Curl last year. We've increased the size run in that model for this summer. So that goes all the way out to the 8.0s. Seemed to be pretty well received. It's a sharp looking board. The Epoxy Pro. So that's a straight up hardboard with a soft deck on it. It's got an IXPE rail band to stop that bit of chafing around the thighs, and then an EVA insert on the deck. So that's our most expensive product in the market. We actually get a lot of inquiries through our own website for this product. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of demand for it out there, but not much stock because we're sort of just having a lot of money, so we just back what we know is going to sell. So our intention is to do more regular shipments moving forward and kind of keep things going now that 20 footers are back on the program, just dropping into Sydney on a more regular basis, but we'll get there. So that's a 28 gram EPS core with a bamboo stringer CNC'd, 2 fours on the deck, a 4 on the bottom, IXP rails, EVA deck skin, and then a satin spray on the bottom. So it's they're pretty fun. Mick loves the. He was actually kind of shocked how good they went, and he's got a couple in the garage. He was pretty frothed on them. It was good to see the spark come back, you know? Yeah. And then we've got the Super EVA. So this is your product from Thailand with your 36 gram Super EPS core, like I was talking about earlier. You've got a bake time of an EPS core is 2 to 3 minutes. These EPS cores bake for about 15. A carbon T stringer, and then laminated with multiple either 200 gram or 160 gram layers on the deck, one on the bottom, and then a full EVA wrap. The MF Beastie little Marley got tiny little MF logos all over them that are kind of rad. So like I said, that's something that you just need to be made aware, like when you're selling, that they do chafe you. Jiro, who's our distributor in Japan, his best mate was surfing one, ended up with like a big chafe mark under here. He's like, when he's paddling, he's got his chin on the board, just really going for it. It was pretty funny. So we've just delivered this. There's some content coming out about that, as far as like it's achieved a level 1 eco board by Sustainable Surf. There's an overarching story going on with Sustainable Surf for 25, which is kind of rad. And there's a big push from Mick to be first to market with different raw materials that are more sustainable as well. So there's a lot going on in that space. So there's a video rolling around of Mick. Here it is.
Hi there. I'm Mick Fanning, and today I've got some great news to share with anyone who's passionate about surfing and our planet. As surfers, we have a unique connection to the ocean. It's not only where we find our sporting outlet, but also our peace. We're the first to see the changes in the seas, and it's our duty to protect the waters that give us so much joy. That's why I'm stoked to introduce a real game changer in the world of surfing. The first ever softboard that has been certified level 1 eco board by Sustainable Surf. Yes, you heard that right. We're talking about the MF Softboards, Beastie and Little Marley, made with our Super EVA constructions. These models aren't just your ordinary softboards. They represent a massive leap forward in our journey towards sustainability. These boards are designed for all skill levels, ensuring everyone from beginners to seasoned surfers can make a conscious purchasing decision without compromising on quality. I'm beyond excited to share this innovation with you. It's a step towards preserving the beauty and health of our oceans for generations of surfers to come. Keep surfing, keep caring, and I'll see you out in the water.
It's pretty interesting for me because we started this business, and when we were third year in, and we used to manage, I used to manage product for 32 brands globally, and we just used to get their product made and ship it to them. So it's been pretty, the Aloha brand's pretty kind of special for me. My brother had an Aloha when I was back in 1985 and wouldn't let me try it. So now he can go suck it because I've got all the Alohas. Look at my piece of shit. He had a cluffy. I didn't have anything. So we've got a couple of constructions. In this, we're going through a bit of a reshuffle of how we're going to bring this to market in September, which is pretty exciting. But the nuts and bolts of it are what we're going to show you now a little bit. Change of colours, stuff like that. So the polished tint's quite nice. The blanks at Cobra are quite good. Dylan's doing the blanks up there. So X-Core, I don't know what he calls himself now. Is it Formula 1 or F1? F1 blanks. It's pretty good foam. The factory at Cobra they're quite unique in that they actually went to the fiberglass weaver and got their own cloth woven. It's called a blue diamond cloth because they weren't quite happy with your kind of like Porsche and these sorts of things. So that's their premium cloth. It's really nice. It's easy to work with. And the tint polishes come out quite nice. So we've got a couple of models in that, twin fin, mid-length, a couple of longboards. The longboards are quite good. There's a couple of pintail nose riders over there. Everything ends up blue, which is awesome. So the tint polish is of a high quality, and I think there's plenty of kind of demand for that nice looking product. That's Manon having a good time. The PVCP, we've got a longboard over here. It's a play on a classic T-band stringer. It's two 3.6mm plywood stringers flanking a HDPE center. That red one, yeah, that's all right. You can leave it there. It's they're really quite strong. They've got a really nice weight to them. It's a great looking product. It doesn't come with a polish, it just comes with a sanded finish, just a price constraint. Eco Skin, damage in transit. I think that was for someone to surf. Yeah. So the Eco Skin, we've moved on to the Eco Skin. So we're doing a great job. The Eco Skin, I've shifted it from China over to Thailand. It's pretty rad. I think when you're looking at something that it's sustainable, it's something that's really well made, durable, and performs really well. So this has got a layer of 4 ounce, a Polonia timber veneer, and then a layer of 4 ounce over that, all sitting on top of a super EPS core, so a 36 gram EPS core. I've been surfing the Black Panda at the pass. I can't stop surfing it. I recently started ice bathing and doing like leg days. So I'm back on a 5.6. I'm so excited. So I've been putting that through its paces. It's holding up really well. I had someone on a log run into me the other day and no dings. I was stoked.
I mean, anyone who's bought one of the ones that we've driven to China,
yeah. So the fun board in that range is pretty interesting. It's pretty high volume, but surfs pretty well. So if I go to Japan for a couple of weeks and I hit the Asahi and white rice, I'll jump on one of these as a 20 when I get home for a couple of days just to get my feet again. That's quite a fun board. It feels really chunky, but it actually sort of like you can throw it around pretty easily. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched on that range. I'm happy with it. That's Jed. He's just there. Where was that, Jed? Monuments. It's firing. So this is on a Shadow Force construction, which is our, it's actually these ones over here, the Shadow Force. Almost there, Dan. So the Shadow Force is kind of interesting because it's a play on we took the PVC stringer out of those boards, chucked it in an EPS core, painted it. There's an Enever band top and bottom. This has got a recycled PET cloth on the deck with a 4 ounce over it and a 6 ounce on the bottom. So it's pretty interesting using plastic bottles to kind of shove in a surfboard, and they go pretty good, yeah, Jed. we've got a bit of a range in that. Okay, then Rooster, just PU. The PU's lifted quite well over the last couple of years, with Dylan coming in to fix up the foam manufacturing. When I first went into the PU foam blowing section of the Cobra factory, it was hilarious. You know when you go into a bakery and they got the big kind of mixers, it was just a shit show. It's super tight now. It's really, really amazing what they're doing with the PU foam up there. They're making all types of products that you wouldn't think came out of like a factory like that. And yeah, there's some really high quality product coming out of there on the PU side. Oh, the Smile program. Yeah. That's our price point offering. Comes in futures only. You go, Pete. So this is just a satin sprayed finish, 220 gram deck by 220 gram bottom by 1. No, that's special operations. Yeah, I rode that at the pool. How'd that go in the pool, BD? Sick in the pool. I rode the little blue one. it's kind of rad if you if you wreck it, you can just repaint it, and it doesn't look too bad. So my old boss, Planko and I used to work on a surf tour company, and we had a quiver of 50 Dick Van Stralen epoxy single fins on the roof of the bus that we used to teach people how to surf on. You know, the micro mal. There was 50 of those, and my boss used to we used to fix the boards on the weekends with carbog and the big angle grinder. And then I was telling a couple of the boys here recently, we used to recycle the wax, take all the wax off and put it in a big pot and boil it, and all the sand would fall out, and then cut the sand off the bottom. Yeah. Yeah, cut it back up and use it again. Yeah, it was pretty funny. No softboards then. Yeah, quite strong, quite light. Great option for like a beginner or intermediate. Yeah, it's our sort of little price point offering. Gonna faff around with the colours a bit more next year, and it's supposed to be fun and inclusive. I really enjoy surfing it actually, especially when the waves are really average. Just that light, it's really light, so you can sort of put it up and down in the lip pretty easily. McCoy, Jeff's still punching on. I think he's down Victoria somewhere. Tassie. So we've got McCoy and XF only, sort of tipping away. I haven't changed the colorways. We've got a sunrise, sunset, but the XF is pretty bulletproof. It's good weight. These are 36 gram EPS plywood stringer, CNC. There's a 220 biax cloth on the deck. The biax cloth is a engineered cloth. So you have, you can see if you have a good look at it, it's got stitching through it. They actually lay the cloth down and stitch it together to achieve a flex pattern. It comes from boat building. So when you build a boat, it's got no internal strength. So it all goes in the lam through the engineered cloth. So it's got a 220 biax cloth on the deck, a 6 ounce over the top and a 6 ounce on the bottom. We do the nugget. We've trimmed down the sizes a little bit to make it easier to buy, and just might even trim it down a little bit further just to hit those sizes that sell through really well. Clear is sanded finish. Colors are clear and blue is sanded. What's that? No, that's polish. Polish on the blue, polish on the colorways. There we go.